Hey, voice teacher, if you freaked out a little bit reading the title of this episode, I totally understand. And I want to meet you where you are. You don't need to do anything. You are your own boss with your own intuition and your own vision. And ... if you want to make money in other ways besides private lessons, I invite you to open your mind and consider the possibilities that a YouTube channel or a podcast could provide you. If you have one and you're committed to posting, oh my goodness, you are awesome. And if you have one and you aren't as committed to posting, maybe this episode will inspire you to move at a different pace. Well, wherever you are at, let's dive in to why you should have a YouTube channel or a podcast. This podcast is for professional voice teachers to answer the question, how do I grow my teaching business and even break out of that one-on-one lesson model so that I can reach and teach who I want whenever I want. I'm your host, Allie Tyler, voice teacher of over a decade and marketing and business coach for fellow voice teachers. Welcome to the Voicepreneur Podcast. Hello, lovely voice teacher. Welcome to another episode of the Voicepreneur Podcast. I am so delighted that you are spending your time with me. And this day, the day that this is being published, is a very special day in my book, September 1st. September is my favorite month. Actually, oh my gosh. I'm gonna be real right now. And I'm being real to my birthday self. Is that a thing? Okay, September is my birthday month. And I feel like everybody loves their birthday month, right? There's something about your birthday month that is just so fun. And oftentimes we will label our birthday month as our favorite month, but okay, it's actually my second favorite month. I love September, but what I really love is October. Oh my God, I love October. It is by far my favorite month. Then September. Okay, why am I telling you all this? I don't know. I'm going off on a tangent. September 1st. It's a great month. It's an amazing month because we are in a new season. We are in a new groove. We're just feeling a different energy. I'm sure that you're feeling this. No matter which hemisphere you're in, there's something about September that is particularly magical. And if you are in that zone right now where you are utilizing this energy and this magic of back to school and fall season, if that's applicable to you, go check out the episode where I kind of give you some tips on how to get new students on your roster, because it is a very awesome time to do that. Okay, that's not what we're talking about today. What we're talking about today, oh, I know. You're like, why, Allie? Why do I have to have a YouTube channel or a podcast? That's what we're talking about. Now, here's the thing. I want to start, of course, with really just setting the stage for understanding and clarifying your own vision. Your own vision is the most important thing here. I'm going to share some of the reasons I think having a YouTube and a podcast are an amazing thing as a business owner, voice teacher. But you know me, and if you don't know me, one of the things I advocate most importantly, is following your own intuition and getting creative. And that is really what this is all about. So please take this with a grain of salt. I really want you to think about what your vision is. So if you're driving or if you're walking or wherever you're at, just kind of, however you can reflect on this vision, I actually want you to ask yourself, where do you visually see yourself in 2 years? And if that feels too crazy, maybe try a year and a half. I feel like a year is a little bit too short personally. I like doing 2. 3 is like, whoa, what? What is 3 years? And then of course it goes by like that. But 2 years feels nice and grounding. So where are you at in 2 years? What does your life look like? And moreover, what does your ideal life look like? Because that's how you manifest things, right? Is you embody your highest and best and most ideal self and ideal life. So what is that? What is that life for yourself? And how does your business support that? How does your business support your ideal life? Maybe this relates to teaching. Maybe this relates to another modality that you're exploring. Maybe you end up making some sort of hybrid or method, or you go off and you ditch the whole thing altogether. I don't know where you're at, but wherever you are at is where you're at. And this is exciting because now you get to create so many actionable and attainable goals that can support you living this vision. So I wanted to set that stage there because if your vision does not include, let's say, building passive income or reaching hundreds or thousands of people if you want to, or just building and scaling your online teaching business, if that is not supporting your ideal vision, then forget everything I'm going to tell you in this episode. You don't really need to worry about it. It doesn't need to apply to you because everybody is in different places in life, and we just all have to honor where we all are, right? Now, if you are in this stage of life where you're like, I'm committed to this. I'm doing this freaking thing. I am building my business. My business is going to support my ideal life. And yes, that includes passive income and workshops and courses and programs and whatever you want, right? Creativity, whatever you want. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about legacy content. You may have heard me talk about this in a previous episode. Legacy content is what a YouTube channel and a podcast is. Why is that? Because this is where you leave your legacy. And we'll talk about actually why that is, like the tech reason and the algorithmic reason why that is. But all you really need to know is that if you want to leave a legacy, if you have something to say, you have a mission, you have a message, and it can be small. It doesn't have to be a big, like loud, like life-changing message. It can be like, dude, SOVTs are freaking where it's at, right? It doesn't matter what the message is. If you want that to be something that is part of your legacy, that is something where people Google you and they find information that has to do with your work, you need to put it on YouTube or on a podcast. That is where legacy content truly is. Instagram is my favorite app. It is my favorite app. I love Instagram, but Instagram is not made for legacy content. It is not searchable. And that's actually one of the first things I wanted to talk about in terms of why we need legacy content. So here's the thing. Everything has to do with how we use each of these platforms. And they are the ones that basically curate how we use the platform, right? What I mean by that is, for example, let's say you're going on to TikTok. The very first thing that it does when you open that app is what TikTok wants you to look at, right? That's how these platforms are made, whether it's TikTok or Instagram or YouTube or a podcast. And Instagram is not made to be a search engine. Now, what's funny is that they're trying to be like that because they're like, whoa, YouTube has got it figured out. Here's what YouTube did. YouTube is a search engine, right? We go onto YouTube to search for things. That is what it is for. And they created on their dashboard the suggested feature, right? And suggested has to do with keeping you on the platform. It has to do with getting you to watch more videos, getting you to find more relevant people that they think that you might want to follow, which is an amazing thing for a business owner. And now TikTok's doing the same thing, and now Instagram's doing the same thing. But here is the difference. Here's the key difference here. People who search are more likely to be your leads than people who scroll. Okay? So when we think about Instagram, and we think about how we actually interact with that platform, we are scrolling, right? Very, very rarely are we going into the actual search part of Instagram and searching, let's say, voice lessons or singing tips. I mean, it definitely happens. I'm not saying that it doesn't, but that's not typically where we go. Where do we go? We go to YouTube, right? I mean, it's the same thing for anything when we're trying to learn how to do something. If my husband is trying to learn how to fix a plumbing issue because he has to do really random things like that, and he is skilled in a variety of different things, all from YouTube. He doesn't go on Instagram to search these things, right? He goes onto YouTube. So that's something that we have to remember, is that YouTube and podcasts, the way that those work is through the search. That is how people interact with that platform. And the way that we use Instagram is through the scroll. So if people are searching, specifically searching for what it is that you are posting about, they are way more likely to be a lead than some random follower who likes your account and likes you, but is scrolling. If they're scrolling, they're not looking for something necessarily, right? They're not looking for a how-to video. They might look at that video and be like, ooh, that's really cool. I'm going to save it and watch it later. And that's great. I'm not saying you shouldn't post those videos on Instagram. Like, you definitely should. But if Instagram is your only place that you are putting that type of content, just know that it's going to get lost in your feed, and people are way less likely to actually buy the thing that you're selling because they're not as likely to be a lead. Now, here's another reason that legacy content is so important, and it kind of goes along with what we were just talking about, which is that you want to create videos. You are an expert, right? If you are listening to this, you are probably already creating content. You have put your face to a camera and you have posted it, and that is awesome. Like, OMG, that takes a lot of balls. Let's be real. So I just want to congratulate you for doing that in the first place. And the fact that you are a teacher means that you have so much knowledge to give. It means that you are used to filling up 30 minutes. You are used to filling up 60 minutes, right? You can be like pouring just information out of your body when it comes to voice and mind and body and soul and all of the amazing things. That means you belong with long form content. Just like I'm recording this right now and I'm looking at the red dot and it says I'm somewhere around the 12, 13 minute mark. And I would never be able to get all of this information that I want to tell you into an Instagram reel, right? Even if I put an Instagram live onto a reel, it is way less likely because of the platform to actually get seen versus a YouTube video or like this, a podcast episode. So long form content is where it's at, yo. This is why you are an expert. You need expert time. You need to talk about all the things that you are an expert in. And even if you don't feel like you are an expert, you are, because you know more than the thing that people want to learn about. Whew, that was a crazy tangent. All right, long form. That's huge. Another thing that goes along with having a YouTube or a podcast, and I gotta tell you, in my own personal experience, this to me is like the coolest thing ever, is how long of a shelf life each episode has. So let me give you an example of this. I don't know if you knew this, I have another podcast. It is called the Whole Voice Podcast. And I have not, admittedly, updated it in over a year. It's because I had a baby. And I did say that. I was like, I don't know what's going to happen to this podcast. I'm going to keep it up, but I don't know what I'm going to post next. I'm going to be a new mom and all that. So haven't posted on there in over a year. And I checked yesterday, I was just looking at sales inside of my Kajabi account, and I'm not kidding, someone bought my course, as they do, my Discover Your Voice online course that is completely set up with a funnel, as I talked about in the previous episode, from a podcast episode. Like, to this day, I am getting thousands and thousands of listens and downloads on way old podcast episodes about singing. And it's actually really fascinating because I can see all the stats on it still and be like, wow, people really want to know how to sing when they are first starting out. That's the number one episode, hands down. Same with my YouTube channel. I created a YouTube channel, I don't even know, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. And those videos are still getting comments. They are still getting views. They are still getting watch time. That is powerful. The shelf life is long, my friend. So maybe that freaks you out a little bit, but I hope it doesn't, because all this means for you is that you can continue to make trickling little money, or maybe even not money. You can just make a trickling following from having episodes like this, whether it's a video episode or a podcast episode. So here's my final reason that I think legacy content is the most powerful. Okay, here's the cool thing that you can do inside of a YouTube video and a podcast episode. You can edit it. You can literally edit everything about it. You can edit the title, you can edit the description. And how amazing is that? Because I have all of the watch time already on that video, right? I haven't changed anything about the actual experience that people have with it. Just think about that, because you can tweak things in the future. You can change titles in the future. You can change the entire audio in the future, right? If I wanted to go back to old episodes and plug in an ad, let's say I was doing a promotion, I could go and do that. And you can't do that on Instagram. So that's really cool. Really cool. Okay, I love nerding out about these types of things. I hope that this is helpful, that it just gives you a different perspective on these platforms. I know it feels intimidating. I know that content creation can feel really overwhelming, but I promise if you have a funnel, if you have a plan, if you have a strategy, it's actually really freaking easy. Truly, I know it sounds crazy, but I would not lie to you. I promise you, it's not hard. So if you are excited about this, if you are listening to this and you're like, I'm getting some wheels turning in my brain, I want to grow my business, I see the potential of this, and you just want a little bit more support, I am offering one-on-one spots. This is a very limited thing because I only have so much time. So if you're listening to this, head on over to the link in the show notes, and hopefully there is a spot still available, because this is not something I do very often, and I am so excited to work in a container with you to ensure that you see success in your business. There's a few different options on there. We can do a one-on-one thing. We can do a 4-hour intensive. Or if that's not your jam, you can always join us inside of the Voicepreneur program, which is truly just the most incredible community of voice teachers all over the world. We meet every other week. We share about our business, what we're making, what we're growing, what we're selling, and it is awesome. All right. Well, I would love to hear if you are going to create a YouTube channel or a podcast, or if you already have one. Oh my gosh, let me know. Send me a DM over on Instagram. Take a screenshot of this episode if you are loving it. And if you are loving it, please rate and review it over on Apple Podcasts. That really helps us get in front of more voice teachers. Thank you so much, as always, for listening to another episode. Now go be a badass, grow your business, and I cannot wait to hear all about it. Have a wonderful rest of your day.